Chapter 1: The Merchant and the Farmer. The city of Baghdad, known across the world for its glittering bazaars and intellectual gatherings, was alive with the hum of trade and the rhythm of its people. Here, one could find everything from silk to spices, poetry to philosophy. Yet, amid its splendor, it was the everyday stories of its citizens that often captured the city's essence. Among these citizens were two men as different as night and day. Umar, the merchant of gold and silk. Umar, a wealthy merchant, was a figure of prominence in Baghdad. His caravan stretched far into the deserts, bringing back treasures from distant lands, perfumes from Damascus, silks from Persia, and gems from India. Dressed in robes of fine brocade, adorned with gold rings and necklaces, Umar was accustomed to respect. He spoke with the confidence of a man who believed he could buy the world if he wished. Despite his wealth, Umar was not beloved by all. Many saw him as a man of arrogance, one who measured worth in dinars and dirhams rather than deeds. His sprawling palm grove was said to be the finest in Baghdad, each tree yielding dates as sweet as honey. It was his pride, a symbol of his success. Ali, the farmer of simple virtues. Ali, on the other hand, lived humbly on the outskirts of the city. His world revolved around his small farm, where he grew vegetables and tended to a few goats and chickens. His hands were rough from labor, his clothes simple but clean. What he lacked in riches, Ali made up for with integrity and kindness. He was known to share what little he had with neighbors, often refusing payment for the extra produce he offered to struggling families. Ali's life was far from easy. Droughts tested his resolve, and the harsh sun aged him prematurely. Yet, he carried a sense of peace, content with the work of his hands and the blessings he believed Allah provided. The accusation. One fateful morning, Umar arrived at the bustling market with a look of fury etched on his face. He claimed that his precious palm grove had been plundered. Dates, ripe and golden, had gone missing from his trees, and Umar was certain the culprit was none other than Ali, whose farm bordered the grove. It must be him, Umar declared loudly, his voice cutting through the chatter of the marketplace. I've seen him near my grove. What other reason would a poor farmer have to linger by such wealth? Ali, who had come to the market to sell his vegetables, froze at the accusation. I swear by Allah, I have taken nothing, he replied, his voice steady but hurt. If I were to eat dates, would I not grow them myself rather than steal from another? Umar dismissed his protest. You have nothing to prove your innocence. The missing dates are proof enough of your guilt. The whispers of Baghdad. The market buzzed with whispers. Traders paused their bargaining to exchange opinions. Some sided with Umar, believing that a wealthy man would not lie about theft. Others defended Ali, convinced that his character was above such dishonesty. It doesn't make sense, one woman whispered to her neighbor. Ali is an honest man. He once gave me eggs when I had no money. Why would he steal dates? Perhaps desperation drove him, another suggested. The debate grew louder, drawing more onlookers. In the heart of the crowd, Ali stood tall, his dignity intact despite the humiliation. A call for justice. As tempers flared, an elder in the crowd raised his hand for silence. This matter must not be decided by rumors and assumptions, he said. Take it to Judge Musa. His wisdom is like the tigress that nourishes this city, deep, clear, and fair. The suggestion was met with nods of approval. Judge Musa was a figure of legend in Baghdad. Known for his fairness and sharp intellect, he had resolved disputes ranging from family quarrels to complex trade disagreements. His judgments were respected by all, rich and poor alike. Though Umar scoffed at the idea of needing judgment for something so clear in his mind, he reluctantly agreed. Ali, eager to prove his innocence, also consented. The crowd began to disperse, each person eager to see how the story would unfold in the courtroom of Baghdad's greatest judge. The journey to justice. As the sun began to set over the city, casting long shadows on its narrow streets, both men prepared for the day ahead. Umar returned to his grand home, where servants attended to his every need. Ali, meanwhile, walked back to his modest dwelling, his thoughts heavy. He prayed for strength and fairness, for he believed deeply in the justice of Allah and the wisdom of Judge Musa. Though his heart ached from the accusation, he resolved to stand firm in truth. In the distance, the palm grove stood silent, its branches swaying gently in the evening breeze. Little did anyone know, it would soon become the stage for a lesson in justice that Baghdad would remember for years to come. Chapter 2: The Judge's Court. The courtroom of Judge Musa, nestled in the heart of bustling Baghdad, was more than a place for resolving disputes, it was a stage for uncovering truth and dispensing wisdom. The chamber itself mirrored the grandeur of the city's golden age. High, arched windows allowed beams of sunlight to pour in, illuminating intricate tapestries that lined the walls. These tapestries depicted Baghdad's illustrious past, scholars deep in debate, caravans crossing deserts, and marketplaces teeming with life. The faint aroma of frankincense lingered in the air, lending a serene atmosphere to the proceedings. Judge Musa was renowned throughout Baghdad for his unwavering commitment to justice. His wisdom was legendary, and his court had become a sanctuary for those seeking fairness. His presence was commanding yet humble. He wore a modest robe of white and a turban that signified his station as a man of learning. Behind his wooden desk, carved with intricate Arabic calligraphy extolling justice and mercy, he awaited the day's case. The merchant's accusation. The courtroom was already crowded when Umar arrived, his entrance marked by the faint jingle of gold-threaded embellishments on his robe. The merchant was known throughout Baghdad, not only for his wealth, but for his ability to wield influence. Today, he carried with him a branch from his grove, its vibrant green leaves still glistening with morning dew, and a cluster of golden dates hanging delicately from its stem. His expression was one of confidence mixed with indignation, as though his very presence in court was proof of his righteousness. "Your Honor," Umar began, stepping forward with a bow. His voice was loud and theatrical, carrying through the chamber with practiced ease. "I come to you as a man wronged. For years, my grove has been the pride of Baghdad, its dates renowned for their sweetness. But this man," he gestured dramatically toward Ali, "has defiled my property. He has stolen from me, not just dates, but trust and peace of mind." Umar held up the branch for all to see, pacing the floor as he spoke. "This, Your Honor, is evidence. Evidence of a theft that cannot be ignored. My workers, who labor diligently in my grove, have seen him near my trees, lurking with no purpose. What reason does a farmer, whose own fields lie far from mine, have to be near my property?" The crowd murmured. Umar's words carried weight, bolstered by his commanding presence. He concluded with a flourish, bowing again to the judge. "I leave my case in your capable hands, Your Honor. I trust in your wisdom to restore what has been taken from me." The farmer's defense. All eyes turned to Ali, who stood silently in stark contrast to the merchant's dramatic display. His clothes were simple, his hands weathered and cracked from years of labor under the scorching sun. He stepped forward slowly, bowing deeply to the judge. "Your Honor," Ali began, his voice steady but subdued, "I am a farmer. My life revolves around my fields, my animals, and the sweat of my brow. I stand here accused of a crime I did not commit." He paused, taking a deep breath. "It is true that I was near Umar's grove. But I was not there to steal. My donkey, a creature as stubborn as the accusations against me, had wandered off. I found it near the grove, grazing in the shade of the palm trees. I called it back and left immediately. I touched nothing, for I have no need for another man's dates." Ali raised his hands, palms facing outward, showing their rough texture. "These hands are not the hands of a thief, Your Honor. They are the hands of a man who works honestly for his bread." The room was silent, save for the soft rustle of robes as some shifted uncomfortably. The contrast between the two men could not have been starker, one wealthy and polished, the other humble and sincere. The wisdom of Judge Musa. Judge Musa leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled as he observed the two men. His expression betrayed no bias, no inclination toward either party. He allowed the silence to linger, letting the weight of the moment settle over the room. Finally, he spoke. "Umar, you present your case with conviction. You claim to have evidence of theft, yet what you have shown me is a branch that proves little more than the existence of your grove. Is there anything else you wish to present?" Umar hesitated, the confidence in his posture faltering slightly. "My workers saw him near the grove, Your Honor." "What other reason could he have for being there?" The judge turned his piercing gaze to Ali. "And you, Ali? You claim innocence and offer a story of a wandering donkey. But stories are not proof. Do you have anything more to substantiate your claim?" Ali shook his head, his expression resolute. "I have only my word and the testimony of those who know me, Your Honor." Judge Musa sighed, stroking his beard thoughtfully. "The truth," he said, his voice calm but firm, "is often hidden beneath layers of assumption and emotion. It does not reveal itself through words alone, but must be unearthed through evidence and careful observation." He gestured for both men to step back. "I will not make a judgment based solely on what I have heard today. Truth must be pursued with diligence. Therefore, I decree that both of you shall return tomorrow. Bring witnesses and any proof you can gather to support your claims. In the meantime, I will personally visit the grove to observe the scene of the alleged crime." The court's reaction. The crowd erupted in murmurs, surprised by the judge's decision to visit the grove himself. This was not a common practice, but it was a testament to Judge Musa's commitment to justice. Umar looked uneasy, his earlier confidence replaced by a flicker of doubt. Ali, on the other hand, appeared relieved. Though he had no witnesses, he trusted in the fairness of the judge. As the court adjourned, the people of Baghdad dispersed, their conversations buzzing with speculation. Would the powerful merchant's accusation hold, or would the humble farmer's sincerity prevail? The next day promised to bring answers, and the city waited with bated breath. Judge Musa's determination. In the quiet of his chambers, Judge Musa reflected on the case. He knew that justice required more than sharp reasoning. It demanded an understanding of human nature, the context of actions, and the subtle details that others might overlook. As the sun set over Baghdad, casting a golden glow over its domes and minarets, the judge prepared himself for the task ahead. He would uncover the truth, no matter where it lay, for in his court, justice was not a privilege of the powerful but a right for all. Chapter 3: A Palm Tree Shadow. The morning sun bathed the bustling streets of Baghdad in a golden glow as the city stirred to life. Merchants opened their stalls, hawking goods from across the world, while scholars debated philosophy in the shade of arches. But amidst the everyday clamor, all eyes were on the unfolding dispute between Umar and Ali. Word had spread quickly about Judge Musa's unconventional decision to visit the palm grove, and the townsfolk followed in curiosity, forming a quiet procession behind the men. The gathering at the palm grove. Umar arrived at the grove with his entourage, a group of finely dressed servants and laborers who looked prepared to speak on his behalf. They carried themselves with an air of authority, ready to affirm their master's accusations. Umar himself walked confidently, his every step exuding wealth and influence. His palm grove was a source of great pride, its trees tall and laden with golden dates, shimmering like treasures in the sunlight. Ali, in contrast, stood alone. His only company was the humility that clung to him like a second skin. He had no servants to call upon, no carefully rehearsed speeches to present. Instead, he carried the weight of his truth and the hope that justice would prevail. Judge Musa arrived last, accompanied by 2 court scribes and a small retinue to maintain order. The judge's calm demeanor and keen eye scanned the grove as he stepped into its shade. The onlookers, eager for a spectacle, gathered a short distance away, their whispers hushed in respect for the proceeding. Judge Musa's question. Judge Musa stood beneath the tallest palm tree, its leaves rustling softly in the breeze. He turned to Umar, who stood by the grove's edge, flanked by his entourage. "This is your grove, is it not, Umar?" the judge asked. "Yes, Your Honor," Umar replied, his voice tinged with pride. "Every tree, every date, it is all mine. I have tended this grove with care, and its fruits are the result of my labor." Judge Musa nodded, then gestured toward the shadow cast by the towering tree. The shadow stretched long across the ground, encompassing Umar, Ali, and even some of the townsfolk who stood nearby. "Tell me, Umar," the judge said, his voice calm but firm, "does the shadow of this palm tree distinguish between rich and poor?" Umar blinked, puzzled by the question. He hesitated before answering, "Of course not, Your Honor. A shadow is merely a shadow. It falls equally on all who stand beneath it." The judge's lips curled into a faint smile. "Precisely," he said. "The shadow of this tree does not favor one man over another, for it is a gift of nature. And tell me, Umar, from where do the roots of this tree draw their strength?" "From the earth, Your Honor," Umar replied, his confusion growing. "And who owns the earth, Umar?" Judge Musa asked, his gaze sharp and unyielding. Umar faltered. "The earth belongs to Allah, Your Honor." Judge Musa nodded again. "Then why, Umar, would the fruits of this tree, which owes its existence to Allah's earth, serve only your greed?" The testimony of nature. The onlookers exchanged glances, murmuring among themselves. The judge's question hung in the air, heavy with implication. Umar, caught off guard, struggled to respond. "Your Honor," he said finally, "I have worked hard to cultivate this grove. I have invested my time and resources. Surely, I have the right to its fruits." "And you do," Judge Musa acknowledged. "But rights come with responsibilities, Umar. This tree thrives not solely because of your labor, but because of the blessings of Allah, sunlight, rain, and fertile soil. If the shadow of this tree is free for all to share, why should its fruits be hoarded?" The judge turned to Ali. "You say your donkey strayed into this grove. Is this true?" "It is, Your Honor," Ali replied earnestly. "I found my donkey grazing here and left as soon as I retrieved it. I did not take even a single date." Judge Musa studied Ali's face, searching for any sign of deceit. Finding none, he turned back to Umar. "Have you any evidence, Umar, that Ali took dates from your grove? Did your laborers see him carry any away?" Umar hesitated, glancing at his servants. One of them stepped forward nervously. "We saw him near the trees, Your Honor, but we cannot say for certain that he took anything." The symbolism of the palm tree. Judge Musa sighed, his expression both stern and thoughtful. He gestured toward the towering palm tree above them. "This tree is a symbol of life, generosity, and resilience. Its roots draw nourishment from the earth, its leaves provide shade, and its fruits sustain life. In its essence, it teaches us a profound lesson, that the blessings we receive are not ours to hoard but to share." He addressed the gathered crowd. "Many of you came here today expecting me to resolve this dispute with a simple verdict. But justice is not merely about deciding who is right or wrong. It is about restoring harmony and understanding." Turning to Umar, Judge Musa said, "You accused this man of theft based on assumption, not evidence. Yet the shadow of this tree does not accuse. It welcomes all who stand beneath it. Let this tree be your teacher, Umar. Learn from its generosity and let your heart grow as wide as its shade." Then, he addressed Ali. "You entered this grove uninvited, even if your intentions were innocent. Respect for another's property is a cornerstone of justice. Though you took nothing, you owe Umar an apology for crossing his boundary. A lesson in unity." Moved by the judge's words, Ali stepped forward and bowed deeply. "I am sorry, Umar, if my actions caused you distress. I had no intention of wronging you." Umar, humbled by the wisdom of Judge Musa, nodded slowly. "And I am sorry, Ali, for accusing you without proof. Perhaps I have been too possessive of what Allah has entrusted to me." Judge Musa smiled, his expression softening. "Let this dispute be a lesson for all who have gathered here today. The earth belongs to Allah, and we are but stewards of its blessings. Let us not allow greed and suspicion to cloud our hearts." As the crowd dispersed, they carried with them not just the resolution of a dispute, but a deeper understanding of fairness, generosity, and the interconnectedness of all lives. And in the shade of the palm grove, a lesson had been learned that would echo through the streets of Baghdad for years to come. Chapter 4: The Unexpected Witness. The sun rose high in the Baghdad sky as Judge Musa, Umar, Ali, and the townspeople gathered once again. The dispute over the dates had taken an unexpected turn, shifting the atmosphere from tension to intrigue. Judge Musa's reputation for unraveling the most complex cases with wisdom and fairness drew an even larger crowd to witness what many suspected would be the climax of this peculiar case. Ali's testimony. Judge Musa addressed Ali first. Ali, you have claimed that you did not steal the dates from Umar's grove, yet you admit to being present there. Explain to me, in your own words, why you were in the grove. Ali stepped forward, his humble appearance contrasting sharply with the grandeur of the courtroom-like setting under the open sky. He looked directly at the judge, his voice steady but laced with the exhaustion of a simple man entangled in a matter far beyond his daily life. Your Honor, Ali began, I am a farmer, and my days are spent toiling on my small piece of land. But even the most careful among us face mishaps. My donkey, an old, stubborn animal, escaped from its tether and wandered off. I searched everywhere and finally found it grazing near the edge of Umar's palm grove. Ali paused, glancing briefly at Umar, whose expression was unreadable. I swear by Allah, Ali continued, I did not steal a single date. My only concern was retrieving my donkey before it caused trouble. The crowd's reaction. Ali's words stirred murmurs among the crowd. Many nodded in agreement, their faces reflecting a growing belief in the farmer's sincerity. After all, his demeanor carried no trace of deceit. Others, particularly Umar's entourage, whispered among themselves, skeptical of the explanation. Judge Musa raised a hand, calling for silence. Ali, he said, his voice firm yet understanding, you say your donkey wandered into the grove. This might explain your presence there, but it does not absolve you unless we can confirm your account. The judge's examination. Judge Musa turned his attention to Umar. Umar, you claimed that dates were stolen from your grove. Can you identify the specific dates in question? Umar gestured toward a small pile of dates gathered earlier by his laborers. These dates, Your Honor, he said. I instructed my workers to collect all fallen dates after Ali was found near the grove. Surely, these were taken by his hands. Judge Musa stepped forward, examining the pile of dates with meticulous care. He picked up one and held it up for the crowd to see. The date, once plump and golden, now bore small holes, signs of worms that had made their way inside. He selected another and another, each showing similar imperfections. These dates, Judge Musa said, addressing the crowd, are not fit for trade. They are overripe, some even infested. Tell me, Umar, do you routinely sell such dates in the market? Umar hesitated. No, Your Honor. Such dates are usually discarded or left for animals. A revelation. Judge Musa turned back to Ali. Ali, when you found your donkey in the grove, did you see it eating any of these dates? Ali nodded. Yes, Your Honor. It was eating fallen dates from the ground. I quickly led it away, fearing it might cause more trouble. The judge stroked his beard thoughtfully. It seems, then, that the dates in question were neither plucked from the trees by human hands nor carried away unlawfully. Instead, they were likely discarded or had fallen naturally. Umar, can you dispute this claim? Umar looked visibly uncomfortable. Your Honor, he began, fallen dates may indeed be unfit for trade, but they still belong to me. Ali had no right to enter my grove, even if only to retrieve his donkey. The unexpected witness. Judge Musa smiled faintly. You are correct, Umar. Your grove is your property, and no one may enter it without permission. However, let us seek a witness who can confirm whether Ali's intentions were malicious. The crowd exchanged puzzled glances. What witness could possibly shed light on this matter? To everyone's surprise, Judge Musa gestured toward the donkey, tethered nearby. Bring the donkey forward, the judge instructed. The animal, stubborn and unimpressed by the gathering, was led to the judge. Judge Musa instructed a servant to place a pile of fresh dates before it, alongside the worm-eaten dates Umar had presented as evidence. The crowd watched in anticipation as the donkey sniffed both piles. Without hesitation, it began eating the worm-eaten dates, ignoring the fresh ones entirely. The judge turned to the crowd. This donkey is a better judge than many men. It chooses what is already discarded, leaving what is whole and untouched. This confirms Ali's story. He retrieved his donkey as it fed on dates unfit for trade. The verdict. Judge Musa stood tall, addressing Umar and Ali with equal gravity. Umar, while your property rights must be respected, your accusation was made without sufficient evidence. You assumed theft where none occurred. Ali's presence in your grove was not an act of malice, but of necessity. He then turned to Ali. Ali, though your actions were innocent, you still trespassed on Umar's property. In the future, seek permission before entering another man's land, even in pursuit of your animals. Judge Musa concluded, let this matter rest here. Umar, forgive Ali for his trespass, and Ali, show respect for Umar's rights. Remember that justice is not about winning or losing, but about restoring harmony. A lesson learned. The crowd dispersed, buzzing with admiration for Judge Musa's wisdom. Umar, humbled by the judge's insight, extended a hand to Ali. Let us put this behind us, he said. And if your donkey ever strays again, you are welcome to retrieve it, so long as you bring it back with a full belly. Ali smiled, shaking the merchant's hand. May Allah bless your grove and your generosity. The two men parted ways, their dispute resolved not through conflict but through understanding, leaving the townspeople with a story they would recount for generations, a tale of fairness, humility, and the unexpected witness who revealed the truth. Chapter 5, Justice and a Lesson. The courtroom had fallen silent, the anticipation palpable as Judge Musa prepared to deliver his final verdict. The weight of his words was well known, his rulings often carried wisdom that echoed through Baghdad for generations. The gathered townspeople leaned in closer, eager to hear how this tale of dispute would conclude. The verdict. Judge Musa's voice, calm yet commanding, broke the stillness. Umar, he began, addressing the wealthy merchant, your accusations against Ali were rooted not in evidence but in assumption. You allowed your wealth and position to cloud your judgment, thinking them sufficient to win favor in this court. But justice does not bend to gold or titles. It is guided by truth and fairness. He turned to Ali, whose posture was one of quiet endurance. And you, Ali, though innocent of theft, must remember that the boundaries of another's property deserve respect. Even in pursuit of your wandering donkey, you entered Umar's grove without seeking his permission. While the circumstances exonerate you, let this be a lesson for the future. With a pause for emphasis, Judge Musa continued, his voice now resonating with a deeper conviction. Wealth should not blind you to fairness, Umar. Justice, like the shadow of the palm tree, is meant to shelter all equally, rich or poor, powerful or humble. It is not a privilege, but a duty, a foundation upon which communities like ours must stand. A moment of reflection. The townspeople erupted into murmurs, then applause. Many nodded, whispering their admiration for the judge's wisdom. The phrase "justice is like the shadow of the palm tree" was repeated among the crowd, taking on the air of a proverb destined to endure. Umar, for his part, stood stiffly, his expression a mix of indignation and shame. Yet, as the applause died down, a transformation seemed to take place. His shoulders softened, his gaze dropping from the crowd to his own hands, which held no more power here than those of the simplest farmer. Judge Musa wasn't finished. "Umar," he said gently, "you are a man of great means. Use your wealth to uplift others, not to trample on them. Let this serve as a reminder that the fruits of your labor, be they dates or riches, are gifts from Allah. They are meant to nourish, not to divide. A community reunited." Humbled, Umar stepped forward, his voice quieter than the booming confidence he had displayed earlier. "Your Honor," he said, bowing his head, "I see now that I was wrong. My pride led me to accuse an innocent man. I ask Ali for his forgiveness and vow to act with more humility in the future." Ali, taken aback by the gesture, nodded graciously. "There is nothing to forgive," he replied. "May Allah bless your grove and your generosity." The judge's ruling had not only resolved the dispute but also mended the rift between two men who might otherwise have remained adversaries. The townspeople, inspired by what they had witnessed, carried the lesson home to their families. Umar's transformation. In the days that followed, Umar's behavior began to change. Where once he was known for his arrogance, he now sought ways to give back to the community. He established a tradition of sharing the fallen dates from his grove with the poor, ensuring that no food went to waste. His newfound humility earned him respect and admiration, not out of fear but genuine regard. Ali, too, found his life transformed, though in quieter ways. The respect he had gained from the community made his daily toil feel lighter. Neighbors began offering him help during difficult harvests, a reflection of the kindness he had always shown others. The lasting lesson. Years later, the tale of Judge Musa's wisdom and the shadow of the palm tree became a cherished story in Baghdad. Parents would recount it to their children, emphasizing its lessons of fairness, humility, and the shared humanity that transcends wealth or status. The proverb "justice is like the shadow of the palm tree" spread far beyond the city's borders. It became a reminder that fairness should be as impartial and all-encompassing as the shade that shelters anyone who stands beneath it. And so, the dispute over a handful of dates became a story that nourished not just those who had witnessed it, but generations to come. It reminded all who heard it that true justice, like the shadow of the palm tree, belongs to everyone. Moral of the story: a lesson in justice, humility, and compassion. This tale, set amidst the bustling streets and wisdom-filled courts of Baghdad, offers timeless lessons that resonate far beyond its historical context. At its heart, the story reflects the universal values of justice, humility, and compassion, encapsulating truths that guide individuals and communities alike. The nature of justice. The central theme of this story is justice, embodied in the actions and words of Judge Musa. His courtroom becomes a stage where fairness triumphs over wealth and influence, demonstrating that true justice is blind to social status. The judge's comparison of justice to the shadow of the palm tree is profound. A shadow does not discriminate, offering its shade to anyone who stands beneath it, whether they are rich or poor, powerful or humble. This metaphor teaches us that justice must be impartial and universally accessible. It is not a privilege for the elite, but a right for all. The story urges us to approach disputes and decisions with fairness, ensuring that our judgments are free from prejudice or personal gain. The dangers of pride and assumption. Umar, the wealthy merchant, serves as a cautionary figure. His pride and quick assumptions lead him to accuse an innocent man. Blinded by his own importance, he initially believes that his wealth and influence will secure him a favorable outcome. However, the story reveals the futility of such arrogance. It teaches that wealth and status, while temporary and material, can distort our sense of right and wrong if we let them. Through Umar's transformation, the tale shows that acknowledging one's faults and seeking forgiveness are acts of strength, not weakness. It reminds us to temper pride with humility and to approach others with respect and fairness, regardless of their social standing. The virtue of humility. Ali, the humble farmer, represents the strength found in honesty and humility. Despite being falsely accused, he maintains his dignity and trust in the justice system. His patience and truthfulness ultimately vindicate him, proving that integrity is a more powerful shield than wealth or influence. Ali's journey encourages us to stay true to our principles, even in the face of adversity. His character illustrates that humility is not about passivity or weakness, but about holding firm to what is right while respecting others. Compassion and shared humanity. The story also underscores the importance of compassion and recognizing our shared humanity. Judge Musa's reminder that the fruit of the palm tree comes from Allah's earth highlights the idea that life's blessings are meant to be shared, not hoarded. This principle challenges us to view our resources, whether they are material wealth, knowledge, or opportunities, as tools for uplifting others, not as means for personal gain. By fostering empathy, the tale encourages individuals to look beyond themselves and consider the needs and experiences of others. It reminds us that acts of kindness and fairness can create ripples that strengthen the bonds within a community. A broader message for society. At a societal level, the story advocates for systems that prioritize fairness and accountability. It serves as a reminder that leadership, whether in a courtroom, a marketplace, or a community, must be rooted in principles of justice and humility. When those in power abuse their positions or let pride guide their decisions, they harm not only individuals but the fabric of society itself. The story's enduring message is that a just and compassionate society benefits everyone. Like the shadow of the palm tree, fairness and kindness enrich all who experience them, creating an environment where individuals and communities can thrive together. Conclusion: living the lessons. The moral of this story is not confined to the past or the context of Baghdad. Its lessons are timeless, reminding us to embody justice, humility, and compassion in our daily lives. Whether we are faced with a conflict, an opportunity to lead, or a moment to help someone in need, the story urges us to act with fairness and empathy. By living these values, we not only honor the wisdom of Judge Musa but also contribute to a world where justice is as universal as the shadow of the palm tree, a world where everyone, regardless of their circumstances, finds shelter under its shade.